So first of all, hello, and thank you very much for your time. How do you feel?
Hello, thank you for having me. I feel really good, thank you. Having a really nice, calm evening here in Gothenburg, Sweden. Just chilling in my little patio room here.
Okay. So could you please introduce the band The Halo Effect without using the word melodic death metal?
The Halo Effect, sorry, the Halo Effect is a band that plays some very, very interesting, according to me, melodies. When I was, this is hard. uh, I was never going to use the term melodic death metal, but it's the Halo Effect is a band that creates music that we enjoy listening to while playing it.
Okay. So the band's second album called March of the Unheard will be out next year. How do you feel about it? And maybe you already have some feedback?
Yeah, I had some feedback. It's all positive, so so far. So I'm having these. I'm very happy with it. Our second album with the Halo Effect, and think we went in a little different manner than we did in the before the first album, because before we wrote the first album, we didn't know what to expect. We didn't know what to sound like. We just went in with some ideas and started playing together, and it came out a certain way that we all felt comfortable with. There was no pressure. Nobody even knew that we existed. So fast forward to recording March of the Unheard, I think we just went in and tried to recreate that feeling. Obviously, now people knew about us, which meant that we could do some really cool footage in the studio. We could actually present it out that we're out there. So that type of thing was a little bit different, but there was still no negative pressure. I think it was just fun to go in and keep on going basically from where we started. Niklas had a lot of ideas that he finished together with Jesper and showed it to the rest of us, and we just went in and added our stuff to it. And I think that the cool thing about doing music this way is that we're all very open-minded when it comes to everybody else's contributions. So when Niklas shows an idea, just go in and do whatever you want on it, he tells the rest of us. And I think we all trust each other so much. We trust his songwriting when it comes to all of this. And I think just going in and playing without, having any anxiety about how it's going to sound in the end really shows on the album. We're very comfortable together. I
Okay.
hope it should, at least, because that's how I feel.
Okay, okay. So how would you sum up the new album with only three words?
Some great questions here. I'm totally unprepared. Only three words. Interesting, inspiring, happy.
Okay. So you mentioned the composition process, which was a bit different. So what were the main changes you noticed?
No, I think it wasn't really different. Niklas is the mastermind when it comes to the riff making, and he's also very, very generous in inviting everybody into the process. And I think we talked about this since the beginning, that it's very important that everybody is involved in the songwriting that wants to, because it will create a more generous or a happy atmosphere. And that was still the case on the March of the Unheard. I think the difference was that he had a little bit more ideas, that because he doesn't stop writing. He writes music all the time, and he kept on writing after Days of the Lost. Whereas when it comes to me, I more like get into a creative mode when I am about to enter the studio. So I think that he had more ideas and more finished songs on this one than what he did on the first one. The first one we worked on a lot of it together. But given that we had done that, and like I said, we trust each other so well, it didn't really matter, because he writes the way that he does, and Jesper writes the way that he does. and the rest of us, we come in and we do our thing on top of it, and we write the way that we do. So I think it just blends very well together.
Okay. So about the artwork, did you give some guidelines to the artist?
Michael does. He has a lot of conversations with Adrian about this, about what the lyrics are about, what everything, what he meant by all the lyrics and the concept, the visualization that he has. And then Adrian gets to create his vision from that kind of, and I think that that's the key to it. And also, you don't want to go in and ask somebody to make this, make your lyrics come to life and then tell them exactly what to do. It's better to give them, this is my idea about it. This is what I write about. How can you visualize this? And also, of course, Niklas Sundin, who did all the artwork, same thing there. He gets to do his way because it's all a artistic process, and it's very important that we all trust each other in this instead of just going in and it has to be this way, it has to be that way. And that goes for all the creativity when it comes around Halo Effect.
Okay. So bass has always been an important element in all the band you've played, and it's of course the same for the Halo effect. So how do you manage to get such a groovy sound?
Well, thank you. I mean, it helps to have great musicians to play with to begin with. And I think that when the songs are the way that I like them to be, it's just easy to go in and let loose, so to speak. I'm not the type of player who kind of writes my parts. I don't sit down and think I'm going to play like this on that song. It's just I go in and I try to improvise as much as possible and rather take away. I might have tons of inspiration on one song where I want to do a certain melody or a lick or a certain groove. And then I could listen to it, and then I could actually, okay, let's take that away and just keep that one simple, or the other way around. And of course, having a good drummer to jam with helps a lot. Having played with Daniel for so many years within Flames, and when it came to Syra, I played with a guy called Alex Landerberg, who's also an amazing drummer. And if the drummer is grooving, it's really easy for me to, kind of just follow, in this case, him. I don't think about it that much, it comes natural. And when it comes to Daniel, I kind of know what his break is going to be like. I kind of feel now he's going to do something. So even though if it's like the first time I play along to a song, I kind of know what he's going to do a little bit, I know, or at least that he's going to do something and then I can follow that. Same thing when it comes to the riffs that the guitarists do. I feel very comfortable with the way that they're playing, and it's very easy to just groove along to it.
Okay. So how do you find the right balance between all the band members' influences?
Because we don't limit anybody. We don't limit. I mean, for instance, I had an idea on the first record that I had written that was meant to be like an acoustic pop song in the beginning. I showed it to Niklas, and he immediately heard something else, and it became Gateways from the first record.
Okay.
I think that's a perfect example of there are no boundaries when it comes to inspiration and influences. So whatever inspiration anybody might have, we just try it. And if it should happen that somebody doesn't feel it, then then we change it. But so far it hasn't happened. I mean, if I go into a song that somebody else wrote, I'm told do whatever you want on it,
Okay.
and I do whatever I want, and it sticks. It's not a matter of somebody sitting on the side. Oh, I was thinking more like this. So I think that's the key. Everybody's free to play however they want on these songs, regardless of who writes them, because that's what's going to make us comfortable in the end. So, and with that said, we have a lot of bands that we all listen to together, that we like. And obviously then everybody has their own, musical choice that everybody else might not like. But I think we all bring their influences into uh, into the way that we do, and it comes out because of how we perform it.
Okay. So about the music itself, every song has, of course, its own identity. But I noticed the songs Between Directions and A Days That Become Us have a much more melancholic vibe. Is there any concept, or are they just those one intentionally sad?
I think it just started with a certain vibe or certain feeling, a certain inspiration. Niklas came up with that, I think. And it just kept going. When he had his idea, he showed it, and then we immediately felt it and just went into it and just did that. At least for me, it wasn't a certain emotion or certain, it was just a vibe of having a good riff that came out a certain way, and then you kind of drag it into a certain direction. I'm sure it's different when Michael puts his vocals down, and he has a little bit more of a, I think, a little bit more of a feeling of what he should write about when he listens to the songs, obviously. But I also know that he has some sort of theme that kind of sums up the whole album. So I mean, it's still very melodic, and I know what you mean. It's a little melancholic, but I kind of like the way that it builds a bridge in between the other songs. It's no fun having songs that sound the same either. You want them to feel when you listen to them. You want the whole album to make sense, which is why like a set list or like a running order is very, very important.
Okay, that's really interesting. So maybe you have a favorite song on this album?
I was asked this question earlier, and I was like, I'm still learning the titles. But I mean, I'm gonna give. I mean, when we choose singles or videos for the
Mhm.
album, we each put in our request in the hat, and then we make some sort of list. We listen to the people around us, what they think about this record company, and sometimes they get to decide because of they have a really good reason for it. One song that I always wanted as the first single was "Detonate" because I really like the harmonies. I like the way that we all play. It's a lot of Iron Maiden-ish in there when it comes to like well, like from No Prayer for the Dying kind of vibe, and I think that's very cool. And Iron Maiden is my favorite band of all times, and it just felt good to have that upbeat, fast song with all these twin guitars and the melodies and very energetic. And I think that's been my favorite since day one on this one. So I'm going to stick with that. Detonate.
Okay, it's a really good one actually.
Thank you.
So the band only began back in 2019, but you just released some music in 2022. So now there's a second album in the way. How do you find your inspiration to create music?
Well, Niklas, I'm going to say his name a lot because he's such a great guitar player and such a great riff maker. He doesn't stop writing music. He always writes music for different projects and for Halo Effect and for whatever he does. And he has the inspiration that then that's what he does. That's his hobby. That's his livelihood, and that's what he loved doing, playing guitar. So he plays guitar all the time, and he writes all the time, and he sends out ideas, and inspiration comes from his life, his environment, I'm sure, and thinking that this song would fit really perfect if Michael sang that way or Daniel played drum that way or Jesper or me did something. And I think this is just me speculating where his inspiration comes from. But for me, the inspiration comes first when I hear a lot of the riffs and I get into creative mode. I just want to go in and put down my feeling on it, so to speak. Um, but I think it's always been the case of inspiration comes naturally. And if you start thinking about now I have to get into that type of mode, it will be stressful. So for me, I get in the mode when it's time, but also, being out and playing shows and just feeling the reaction with the crowd. having some inspiration, noodling around on the guitar, hearing a riff, hearing a song of something, it comes from everywhere. I'd say it comes from watching a super cool show to with another band to listening to a track that you hear on the radio, or just by enjoying your friends guitar playing.
Okay. So maybe you think you improved yourself as a musician and songwriter with this new record?
Absolutely. I think that it's like I said, it's a very much a group effort, even though the main songwriter is Niklas, because he invites us all into the songwriting process. He and Jesper does, I should say. And I think absolutely I grow because I am able to participate in a different way than I have been before. And also, when you don't get any guidelines when you write music and you just go in and do whatever you want, do what you feel, and you kind of learn how to just trust yourself and go in and play. That will make you grow as a songwriter, as a musician, and also as a person. You learn how to trust your fellow musicians in a way that not every band works like this. So I think that I grow from all of that, from playing more and more, from just keep on playing and practicing and just enjoying everything.
Okay. So the band played, of course, many shows since its creation. So how do you feel when you go on stage and play?
Amazing. I love it. It's always been my favorite feeling in the world, when going on stage, hopefully hearing people, the anticipation that the crowd have on the bands to come. I know I enjoy it so much, just getting to interact with, my friends on stage, and obviously with the fans or the crowd. It's a difficult feeling to explain, because you get a lot of attention, you get a lot of, your ego is filled, but in a positive way that you can give back to the audience, and you have some sort of symmetry when you play that you actually feel. I mean, I feel very, very blessed to be up there and be able to perform. And also, with me, I left my previous band in Flames because at that point I didn't feel like touring anymore. Then we started the Halo Effect, and I still get to be out, and play music in front of thousands of people, and I think it's a magical feeling. I love it.
Okay. So the Halo Effect announced a European tour scheduled for the beginning of 2025 with
Yeah.
Pain on Blood Red Hourglass. Do you
Mhm.
think you are ready for this tour?
I hope so. Yeah, definitely. I know we're putting together the set list right now, and the stage production, all that stuff. So absolutely. I mean, it's a little nerve-wracking to be doing this. Pain, it's a great band. I've been friends with Peter for years and years, and I played with Pain for a little bit as a live member. So that's going to be a lot of fun. But having them as an opening act with all the professionality that they come with, it's going to be really amazing. And just hoping that people stay for our show. It's that's always the concern, because you never. I've learned, and I'm my upbringing, never to take anything for granted. Be happy with whatever comes, and yeah, I think we're ready. Absolutely. Are you?
I am, for sure. So there's a show in Paris scheduled. Do you enjoy playing in France?
I love playing in France. I mean, yes, I do. There's a lot of countries that I enjoy, lots and lots, and France is definitely one of them. I like the culture. I like the people. I love the fact that when you go some places, you need to speak a little French to get through. And I like that pride you have in your country and your language. And I think it's a beautiful thing. I like the food, and I like the culture, and the wine, and just everything about it. I think it's amazing, and the shows are always really, really great. Plus, I saw the other day that my friends in Dark Tranquility had a really good sold out show at Bataclan. So I'm really looking forward to coming back to France and to Paris.
Okay. So for the story, I was at the Bataclan with Dark Tranquility.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
It was a
Great.
great show.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure. Yeah.
So will Jesper play on the tour or will it be Patrick with you?
Patrick will always be with us live. Jesper will be with us when he feels that he can.
Okay.
Uh, and that's up to him. And Patrick will always be there so that he doesn't feel that he has to, it's a little, um, or whatever, it's up to Jesper, but whenever he wants to come and play, he will. And I'm hoping and I'm, really, hoping that he will come on some shows and then we'll do like an Iron Maiden, we'll have three guitar players.
Oh, that could be interesting.
Yeah. And we did it actually a couple of times in Gothenburg, especially when Jesper came up and we all played. The more the merrier.
Okay, yeah. So are there any musician or artist you would like to collaborate for maybe a song, maybe a cover?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of cool bands I like to make covers of, but I also think that a cover of somebody else's music, it's very special. Um, so it needs to be treated with respect. Somebody wrote it a certain way, somebody performed it a certain way. And because I've seen a lot of really bad covers when somebody goes in and they just maybe it's just scream about it, and I think it's if you're going to do a cover, you need to be delicate with it and it needs to be treated with respect. With that said, I love to do maybe oh, let's see. Something by Danzig maybe would be cool.
Okay,
Uh, I have done covers. We did some Depeche Mode covers and Iron Maiden covers and stuff in the past, which is cool. But I think going back to that, it needs to be, yeah, it needs to be very special, and you need to treat it gently, so to speak. But yeah, there are absolutely, and there's people I'd love to play with, but no one in particular that kind of I want to, address right now.
okay. So another question, it's a funny one this time. With which dish would you compare the Halo Effect music?
Dish like
Yes,
food,
yes.
pizza.
Oh,
Pizza, you get so many different types of toppings and there's something for everybody on it, whether you're one of those people who like pineapple on pizza or not, there will be something for everybody on it.
okay. So this was my last question, but before we finish, I would like to tell you something. It was actually more than 10 years ago, I began to play bass because I
Oh,
was so fucking in love with In Flames bass lines.
oh, cool. Thank you very much. Thank you. No, I
So,
think that's an honor to hear. I have for myself, I have my personal favorite, Steve Harris, John Myung, Geddy Lee, people like that I always inspired me how to play and kind of I always wanted to be the little rhythmic parts, but also add some melodies into it because before, but not overdoing anything. And that's kind of how I approach all the songs. I want to keep the groove, but I also want to flavor it a little bit with some parts. So thank you very much for saying that.
it's a pleasure. So that was my last question. So once again, thank you very much for your time. So the last words are yours.
Merci beaucoup for always supporting me in my musical careers and for supporting the Halo Effect now. I really can't wait to come back to France and play for you at the end of January, I think it is. And I hope to see as many of you as possible and to have an amazing time. Eat some good food and drink some nice drinks and just enjoy music together.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And see you in Paris.
Absolutely. Take care. Have a nice day.
Take care. Goodbye.
Bye.